Hello everyone, Nigad here, and welcome to another match of LittleWarGame, where today's match is played on Ravaged between ConsciouslyEating, playing with the red pieces in the top left of the corner of the map, versus his opponent, Mr. BeatFlitz, playing with the blue pieces on the bottom right corner of Ravaged. Both of these players very talented, very decent at their skill level. Already doing something pretty interesting, I notice. Building this house right on this location of the ramp, and ConsciouslyEating going for a little bit of a proxy, whereas BeatFlitz is being an honorable den player, going for standard den versus looks like ConsciouslyEating's 3-den proxy. This will be pretty interesting to see what happens, and if ConsciouslyEating is able to get anything done off of this. So that'll be very exciting. BeatFlitz, a very good player, came from StarCraft 2 when Hearthstone put his video about LittleWarGame on his YouTube channel. Very good player, by the way. He played in the Pro League tournament, I believe the Season 3 Pro League tournament, and he did very well. Then obviously ConsciouslyEating has been playing for about a year now, and obviously is going for as much strategy as he possibly can. ConsciouslyEating ignoring the wolf that BeatFlitz has started to produce, and instead he's just going straight for the main base. Just wants to see all the information he possibly can. He is obviously in control of this wolf as it is moving towards the corners, trying to get all the scouting information. And if we take a look at ConsciouslyEating's perspective, you'll see that he is able to get that full scout. These wolves over here not doing anything just yet. Dude does need to start getting in to his opponent's main base here, especially if he's going to expect to do any damage with these wolves, these guys over here. But it looks like ConsciouslyEating is just solely focused on that production, trying to get this this wolf to survive. It's actually kind of funny. He's just solely focused on this wolf. It's just now when we start getting some movement with these other wolves that ConsciouslyEating was proxying with. Does finally start controlling his units, and now we do see that the wolf advantage is in favor for Mr. ConsciouslyEating, having 10 wolves to Mr. BeatFlitz's 5. This is actually looking like a really good like wolf all in here. I would be very surprised if he wasn't supply blocked, and he is. Yes, ConsciouslyEating supply blocked at 30 wolves. So really the 3 dens didn't really matter if you're gonna get supply blocked, which is actually my biggest gripe with the 3 den, is that you only have the economy off of one base to support 2 dens without getting supply blocked. If you're expecting to lose a lot of wolves, then going 3 dens is obviously the better play, because then you won't have to build houses. But ConsciouslyEating, trying to get as much damage as he possibly can. BeatFlitz gets a wolf surround over in this main part of the army. Other wolves are very low at this point, and so BeatFlitz is able to get the defender's advantage, and is able to get these 3 dens up and starting to produce. Sends a worker out to the mine, is very quickly going to start building up this castle again, I presume. Good micro here. Actually, ConsciouslyEating has some great micro. I would love to see that wolf being targeted, but it looks like it wasn't getting targeted. Let's take a look at the economy here. Both players, actually BeatFlitz has mined more than his opponent. He's just lost slightly more as well. So about even at this point. This is what I would have loved to have seen at the beginning of the match, where BeatFlitz just puts a wolf here. But alas, it didn't happen. Consciously Eating, microing back those 2 wolves that were about to die. 1 wolf does die for Consciously. A den is about to go down here. BeatFlitz is not able to do anything about it as he's kind of been trapped out of his base and does lose that additional resources. So Consciously Eating being very annoying with how he's using these wolves. BeatFlitz kind of being in a brand new situation, not responding to this right away. Yeah, we're not in the best way. Having the ramp control, having the building control here would have probably been the play. Ooh, this will be very bad if BeatFlitz is forced to cancel this building, especially since they're relatively even on wolves, not necessarily even, but with this this tower here, he definitely has a ramp control. Decides to cancel that base, gets another house to avoid being supply blocked, and Consciously Eating is following this up with a castle, or a fortress rather. It looks like he's trying to expand behind it as well, knowing that he has the wolf count. BeatFlitz, seeing that Consciously Eating is trying to get up the ramp, uses his wolves to protect the ramp. Very curious to see what he decides to do at this point. Decides to go for snakes. I think that's a good decision for going up into wolves, as long as you have the wolf count to kind of defend against this kind of aggression. But yeah, both players on 1 base, Consciously Eating going for his 2nd base. It really looked like BeatFlitz had recovered. I actually would have completely believed that BeatFlitz had recovered that kind of opening and would have finished his 2nd base. That would actually assuredly made him be in a very advantaged position. But we don't see that. We do see that Consciously Eating does go for a fortress into 2 watchtowers. So basically knowing that he has the base, 1 base advantage over his opponent, he doesn't want to die to anything, so he gets the watchtowers. He gets more workers in production, and then I'm assuming the next thing on the agenda is those dragons, especially as the fortress has finished up. Dens not producing anything quite yet. Looking at the economy, yep. So as we mentioned, or as I mentioned earlier, it's even, except that BeatFlitz has lost a lot of gold in those buildings that were there. Now the snakes are out, so BeatFlitz is going to have an advantage in pretty much any fight that he takes. Wolf's trying to get this round here. BeatFlitz kiting back to his tower is able to use these wolves as a buffer between the snakes and the wolves, which is very good. That's what you want the snakes to do. And then Jay Awesome commenting on that as well. Apparently he was a spectator in the game, realizing that was a brilliant play. Looks like Consciously Eating trying to go for a double flank here. Snakes and wolves able to respond. It looks like Consciously Eating is just going to ignore that force though. And man, if I was BeatFlitz, I would be looking to base trade here. I think my army is better than my opponent's army. I have that tower at home that can be used for defense. I would definitely be base trading. I would be sending this army. I'd be killing everything that's here as quickly as I possibly could. And it looks like he comes to that decision, realizing that he's not going to be able to defend his 2nd base. All your units need to be rallied at home. You're getting that defensive watchtower. You use this as a defensive area, and it looks like that first area was kind of broken through, so now he's using this pocket as another defensive area, and it looks like he does begin to approach his opponent's base and is going to start to try to take down some of these towers. Killing 2 towers is very difficult to do with this kind of army. Kind of have to do a little bit of Sim City, move your wolves. But the good thing is that snakes are very good against workers and this kind of army. Consciously Eating responds by sending his army back home, which relieves the pressure here, but it does mean that BeatFlitz is at high risk of losing his entire army, and tucking into this corner will surely guarantee that. Maybe he'll get better trades. Like, we can take a look at that income tab. Yeah, it's okay. Trades like these snakes are good, but consciously eating could. Wait, BeatFlitz is winning this. BeatFlitz is winning the trade here. That was okay. That was strange. Probably some poor micro. Yeah, BeatFlitz needs to stop building snakes. He needs to stop building snakes, and he needs to actually start building wolves again, because these snakes are not going to be safe against wolves anymore. Because now you have things like wolves attacking straight onto snakes, which is not what you want to see at this point. Dens not producing quite yet. If we take a look at the army composition, 15 wolves versus 6 wolves, 4 snakes. Again, getting more wolves will be very good for BeatFlitz. But at the same time, something that would be very good for BeatFlitz is getting another base, especially as he is very close to mining out of his primary base. So many chances for BeatFlitz to kind of get out of this game, because despite consciously eating, going for a very aggressive opening and kind of putting his his opponent here in like a contain, there have been opportunities, and consciously eating has kind of allowed a lot of opportunities for BeatFlitz to try to do some stuff, try to get some damage. Yes, this is actually really good for BeatFlitz here. All these wolves are dying. The only thing, yeah, all these wolves are dying now. If you go ahead and just move to the other side of the map, your opponent's bases are available for the taking. Looks like BeatFlitz is trying to do that. The dragons are up, so you are going to want a advanced workshop very soon. You also will want that second base, or else you're gonna have to start long distance mining. Man, very hard to say. Very hard to say what exactly is happening here. Consciously eating, going to defend his base by building buildings. Actually, this is very smart. Is he able to get a building here? No, so the wolves do have a way to get in. But I did like this these cheeky building placements. That's really nice. Is going to lose a lot of workers here. In fact, if we take a look at the loss tab, consciously eating is starting to lose a lot more gold compared to his opponent. Almost about even, actually, comparatively. BeatFlitz just continues the run by. He doesn't try to stop this tower from finishing, and I think he's going to get a rude awakening when he finds out that this tower over here is going to stop any plays from that. Ooh, 5 dragons out, or how many yeah, 5 dragons. We really need a ballista out, or another base, another ballista or another base. Stopping the production of snakes would actually help BeatFlitz so much here. If he just stopped building extra units, got that advanced workshop, got that extra castle, he would start building ballistas, and that ballistas would have kept him safe from this kind of army. But now how I see it personally, is that BeatFlitz is dead here. He doesn't have any defense. Once consciously eating decides to go for an attack on the other side of the map, there's really nothing that he can do. Exactly. So as the attacker, consciously eating can decide where he wants to position his dragons, but BeatFlitz is forced to use his snakes for defense against air units, which is terrible, because snakes have very bad DPS against air units here. So definitely not the best decision. And at the same time, these wolves could be on the other side of the map, trying to get some harassment, trying to look for these dens, that kind of stuff. Definitely some better choices could have been made. It looks like he does decide to try to do that. Will a dragon go down? No, it will not. So fair enough. Well microed by consciously eating not to lose any dragons there. BeatFlitz has run out of gold, and as a result, BeatFlitz does not GG the Mr. Consciously Eating, especially given the fact of how hard Consciously Eating was cheesing there, going for a fortress off of 1 base production and not being able to afford dragon layers until the second base was producing. So BeatFlitz making his opinion there. Very bad-mannered consciously eating, trying to cheese his opponents. But very entertaining game, nevertheless. Very late into the game for a low economy game like this. And yeah, interesting decision making. Obviously, I think that if that advanced workshop and that, actually, to be completely honest, with slightly better micro, like if BeatFlitz would have had like 10% more micro, or at least 10% better micro, I think he could have defended the second base, and then he would have been on 2 base economy versus that 1 base economy. But consciously eating was just cheesing very hard, was trying to avoid that situation from happening. So very well played by both of these players, and yeah, really good to have another video up. See you guys in the next one.